Good evening. I hereby call to order the November 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Gaithersburg Historic District Commission. For the record, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting is being remotely telecast, so please bear with any of the bumps in the road that we encounter. For our roll call, please answer present when I call your name. Planner 2, Chris Berger.
Present.
Community Planning Manager, Greg Mann.
Present.
Deputy City Attorney, Frank Johnson.
Present.
And we'd like to welcome our newest member, Assistant City Attorney, Eric Perla.
Present, and thank you very much for the introduction.
Wonderful. Okay, Commissioner Mark Feinstein.
Present.
Commissioner Rudy Morgan.
Present.
Commissioner and Vice Chairman John Rodden.
Present.
And myself, Commissioner and Chairman Dean Matola, says present. Okay, we have a quorum. Next is our preliminary statement, which is as follows. This commission is empowered to meet and act under Article 12 of the City Code of Gaithersburg. The technical qualifications of the staff of this commission and members of this commission are on file with the City of Gaithersburg, are available on request to any applicant, and are hereby made a part of the legal record of each and every application heard today. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Okay, next is, does anyone have any conflicts of interest for any application being heard tonight? If so, please raise your hand and verbally indicate so. And I see no one, but I do have a conflict of interest that I want to declare. I am very good friends with the Kavanaughs, who are the architects for the courtesy review. So I will conduct the procedure for the courtesy review, but I will recuse myself and not have any comments. And is that acceptable to you, Frank?
Sure, that's fine.
Wonderful. Okay, very good. Thank you. Next is the approval of minutes, which we don't have any minutes to review at this moment in time, so we'll move on. Then we come right to the courtesy review, which is SP-9104-2021, courtesy review of two-story addition at 23 Cedar Avenue in the R90 medium density residential zone. May we have an introduction from staff?
Yes, tech team, if you can pull up packet page 2, please. The residence at 23 Cedar Avenue is located in the Observatory Heights neighborhood. The applicant seeks to demolish the one-story rear additions and replace those additions with a two-story addition measuring about 2,110 square feet. The application comes before the HDC in accordance with section 22-2274 of the City Code, which allows the HDC to make recommendations to the Planning Commission for properties in courtesy review areas such as Observatory Heights. And this is for site plan amendments like this application. If we can go to the next page, please. This is the back of the residence, now where the addition will be located. This one-story addition in yellow will be torn down. And next page, please. This is the front of the addition. The subject building is to the right, so you can see there's a driveway and a garage back there. Next page, please. This is a shot from above from the back of the property with the subject addition in the foreground, and it's facing the street, Cedar Avenue. Next page, please. And here's another shot that shows those additions to be removed and the patio in the backyard right now. Next page, please. And here's a photo of the building from the driveway. You get the side elevation. And next page. So joining us to present the plans are Mike Kavanaugh, and as well we have, I don't know if they're all here, Mary Huntsberry, Jeremy Carbaugh, and Sidel Kavanaugh. Mike, the plans are yours.
Mike, you're on mute.
Mute. Think I got it that
very
time.
good. Now, were you able to put on your video?
Share my screen. If you can tell me how to do it with Teams, or on Zoom, I can do it.
Well,
There you go.
down at the bottom left, there is, should be
Start my video.
two items. One is for video, one is for audio.
Start video. Okay, I see it. All right. So what do I select? I'm sorry.
Well, if it's at the bottom left, if it doesn't have a slash through it, or if it does have a slash through it, click on the video.
Okay. Up.
There you go. You're in. Oh, we lost you again. There you go.
Okay.
Very good. Okay.
All right.
Welcome, and
Thank
please, you're invited to speak and tell us all about your project.
Okay. So I won't be sharing my screen, correct? I'm just going to walk through by looking at what?
That's correct. Yeah, we have the plans on the page. The front page is on the screen right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it looks just like my screen. But
So
okay.
just say next page to advance the slides, and our tech team will advance the page.
Very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to, present this to you and get some advice and feedback from you. That sounds pretty terrific. I would like to say thank you to all you people on the commission there that, volunteer your time, I think, to do this. I've been a resident of, my wife and I have been a resident of Gaithersburg City for almost 30 some odd years. And just want to say thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you very much.
Because I know it takes time and effort to participate in these such types of activities and committees. So with that said, what you're seeing on the screen is our cover sheet for the project. The rendering up at the top there is the rear view or rear elevation of the two-story addition. You saw pictures of the existing rear addition, which is we were hoping to maybe maintain and keep a portion of it, but once we had our structural engineer involved, we discovered, inadequate foundation, inadequate footings, framing that was very inadequate. And so the intent then is just to remove that entire addition and the foundation and put a brand new foundation in and build 2 stories above it. By doing the 2-story addition, it gives us the ability to create the 3rd bedroom for the 2-bedroom home and add another bathroom for the master suite. And as well, it also offers us the opportunity to create that balcony to overlook the backyard, which is something the owners, Mary, was always very desirous of. So I think we've solved some of the design needs they wanted. We are also building a new stairway. If we go to the next page or the pages where the elevations are showing, I can either explain it in plan, but I think I'd rather show it in elevation. So if you could keep flipping through until the side driveway elevation shows up, that would be good. Keep going, please. Yeah, this helps. Thank you. So if you look at drawing number 4 there, the left west elevation, you can see the stair tower, for lack of a better term, that is that cantilever bay on the side there, the 1.5-story tall element. Where Jeremy is standing to the right of it. That's Jeremy on the bottom, and that's Mary up top in the balcony, and then that's Scarlett and Drew in the back. But that stair tower didn't necessarily always go down to now where we propose it goes to the existing basement level. The existing basement stairs are very narrow and steep and obviously not code conforming, and they've been sort of treacherous for them to use over the years. So we've decided to attempt to, connect the new addition through a new stairway into the basement. And so that's what this scheme provides. It gets rid of the dangerous stairs and gives us a nice set of stairs down as well as a nice set of stairs up. So that's how the interior kind of came about. The shape and massing of the addition, takes a lot of its clues from the roof slopes and gables that are already part of the original house, the bungalow cottage type style, I guess you might call it. And I just sort of manipulated them in different places to try to make sense of, how to put them together in somewhat of a pleasing, balanced, symmetrical scheme. And we're trying to match some of the materials. We're going to use some vertical siding, which is a little bit more unique, maybe a little bit more contemporary than what was originally to the original home. I think I was reading somewhere in the historic report that the house now has a pebble dash stucco on it. I don't think that was the original finish of the house, perhaps. It may have been sided on some sort of clapboard, I imagine. So we are using some of that horizontal, siding and some vertical siding, all hardy plank type of cement board types of materials, kind of matching the trim work and the colors of the existing trim. And that's really it. The color scheme that I'm showing right now is not the final color scheme. Mary and Jeremy are still sort of working out, or they may have worked out what the final color scheme is. I think it's going to be more of a light bluish, dark blue scheme instead of this light gray scheme. So that may change a little bit. But I think our original intent is to go with the look that we currently have proposed. And I think I've probably said enough.
Wonderful. Okay. Is there anyone from ownership of the Carbaughs? Would you like to say anything? If so, okay, I was going to say you're on mute, but there you go.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we're super excited about this project. I think when we bought this house 15 years ago, we weren't intending to buy a home, but we saw it and had an offer on it within a week because we loved it so much. So, preserve it. The character of the home is super important to us and was the primary reason we moved here. But we're also trying to make this, the home that we want to live in for another 15 years. So we're trying to do a great balance of the two and hope that we can get some feedback to help us along in that effort.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Anybody else from ownership? Okay, I hear and see no one. All right, next then is we now invite the public to speak. To indicate that you want to make a comment, if you're on a computer or laptop, move your mouse to the bottom center of Zoom window, and you should see a raise hand button pop up. Click on the button, then we can call on you. If you're dialing in on a telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand.
And I see no one with their hand raised.
Okay, if somebody pops in, we can put them on, I guess, after we go through the commission now. Next then is the commissioners. So when I call your name, please state your thoughts and questions for the applicant. Commissioner Feinstein.
Good evening. Thought out.
Screen froze. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, some reason all of a sudden my internet became unstable, so hopefully you guys can hear me.
We can.
Okay, good. First of all, I'm very impressed with the design. I think it's very sensitive to the existing structure, and therefore I don't have that many comments actually, other than if you could show the elevations, I guess that would probably be the easiest way. The screen that was just up, Chris, if you could do that.
That was packet page 12.
Yeah, the one question I had was and I know it's a little bit misleading because the addition is so far back from the front elevation, but looking at the front north elevation, bottom right, and I think it's in the shower of the upstairs. I think that's what it is from the plan on the right. But the only thought I had was it would be nice to have a window there just for like kind of breaking up the elevation there a little bit, because it's a lot of blank spaces, and I know it's set back far so it doesn't really appear that way, but just on that elevation, I don't know what the thoughts are, if you would like a window in your shower or something like that. Sometimes it's kind of nice, but that was the main comment I had. I think everything else is pretty sensitive to the existing structure, and I think it's done in a really creative way, and I think it's going to be a great addition to, literally and figuratively a great addition to your life. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. Okay, Commissioner Morgan.
Yes. Can you go back to the elevation, please? I first want to commend you on your sensitivity, as Mark said, articulating and using the same vocabulary from the existing building. I like how you kind of articulated the roof, the roof pitch, and from the existing building, and you carry that through all the all these elevation. The only thing I have the rear side, south side elevation. The front elevation just have the window under the portico and then the window on the front, and then nothing else is shown on the front elevation. I wish your front elevation were more. I wish you had carried more of what you did on the left side, left west elevation, the rear south elevation, and the right side, right east elevation. I know maybe behind the walls, maybe there are areas that you don't want to have windows, but again, the front elevation, I think it's hungry for something. There's something on a particular on the upper level. Is that something that you explored, and you have windows? Maybe as a bathroom.
Yeah,
yeah.
If I can respond, if you can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's your observations are, I think, really spot on. All those wall planes that face the street are either in a walk-in closet, which the windows we add. So the lower gable is all walk-in closet, and then the wall to the right, as Mark I think had mentioned, is all that's all shower. I mean, we could put one of the smaller squarish rectangular windows there to match like what we've done on the left west side, and it could be a vinyl window. We did that for them in their, well, they had an existing window in their a first floor bathroom remodel, and we changed that window, I think, to a vinyl. Maybe it was already vinyl, and it's in the shower. So I think that's something we could consider. I think I mean, Mary and Jeremy could obviously offer their insight on that too, but that would break up that plane to the right. And then I don't know what we do so much in the closet area, if that's a possibility.
But yeah, but again, I commend you on the way you articulated the elevation and the exterior. I like the idea of the plank and using vertical and horizontal configuration. That was very smart. The building stands out, and it's not far off from the original, and because it tried to copy the vocabulary and then carry the vocabulary over to all the elevation. I commend you on that.
Thank you.
The work. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Roddy?
Yes, I agree with my colleague's assessment, so I won't belabor the point. I think it can be tricky trying to make a 2,000 square foot addition under these circumstances to fit the neighborhood, but I think to be commended in how you match the roofing lines, the textures and the materials and the colors. I think you've done a very nice job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. All right. So it doesn't sound like we generally go to Commissioner's open forum. It doesn't sound like there's anything further anybody needs to add. Okay. So this is a courtesy review, so there's no vote. So good luck to you guys, and hope you enjoy your new addition.
Very good. Awesome.
We'll get Mike to have that window in the shower. We think it's a great idea.
Very good.
Very good.
Thank you all very much.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye now. Okay, next then we have one historic area work permit, which is HIST 9114-2021. Various elevation alterations, a new driveway and parking area at 9 Brookes Avenue in the RB, which is residential buffer zone. May we have introduction from staff?
Tech team, if we can pull up page 49. The subject property is contributing to the Brookes, Russell, and Walker Historic District. The application comes before the HDC in accordance with section 24-227A of the City Code. If we can go to the next page, please. The applicant proposes a number of changes to the property, such as changes to the front entryway, enclosure of the side porch, installation of a ramp, rearrangement of the stairs to the second floor, a rearrangement of the windows on the rear addition, rearrangement of the windows on the second floor at the original portion of the house, replacement of the railing to the basement access, replacement of the damaged asbestos siding shingles with fiber cement shingles, and the addition of a driveway and parking area. And we have drone footage of the property to orient you, which we'd now like to play. Tech team, if you can pull that up. So first we're flying from Brookes Avenue toward the back of the property. It's the white building in the center of the screen. We have the original garage in the rear yard. And this is the Verizon building in the background. Here we're coming from the left side elevation. You can see there's side porch addition on the side and then a large addition, two-story addition on the rear. And here's from the rear addition. You can again see that two-story addition and the existing wood stairs which go to the second floor. And we're looking at it from the side and now from the rear yard. And now we're going to the left side elevation. And here's a view from the front. If tech team, if we can go to the packet, page 51, please. The Brookes, Russell, and Walker design guidelines apply. Under driveways, alleys, and walkways, the third bullet reads that driveway surfaces should harmonize and blend into the overall neighborhood landscape. It then goes on to list the acceptable surfaces, and then the last sentence is changes to driveway materials should be avoided unless changes would present a historically accurate appearance. Next page, please. 52, under house design elements, the first bullet, new, additional, or replacement construction work on existing houses should be compatible with the historical design elements. And next page, please. For materials, the first bullet, the historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. Next page, page 54. For siding, the last bullet reads, if a material is developed in the future that can provide an appearance that is historic, it may be used on a case-by-case basis. And next page, please. We can skip this one. Let's go to page 56, the next page. And for doors and storm doors, it begins with homeowners are encouraged to consider the style and character of the house when planning changes to the front and storm doors. Front doors are of wood, some with elegant carved ornamentation and others with simple wood panels. Transoms and side lights are common accompanying features. Glass panes in the doors range from simple to ornate, single to multiple. And the first bullet reads, any doors visible from the street should be of wood and in the style of the house. Original wooden doors are worth rehabilitating. Next page, please. For windows and storm windows, basically, the guidelines recommend to retain original windows. And next page, please. For signage at the bottom of the page, this will come into play when any signs are placed at the entrance and exit of the driveway, but we don't have those details yet. So that's one of the conditions staff recommends. Next page, please. Finally, under new construction and under additions, new work must harmonize with the character and scale of the existing house. The new work shall be differentiated from the old. It shall be compatible in height, scale, materials, elevations, texture, color, and details. And now if we can jump all the way to page 83. We can go to packet page 83. And these are the plans, and I will turn it over to the architect, Luis Moya. Luis, if you are ready, the plans are on the screen.
Oh my God.
Luis, are you able to put on your
I
video?
am here. Good evening.
Welcome to you. Are you able to put on your video?
One moment, what happened?
There we are.
Wonderful, we see you. Welcome to you. Please feel free to describe your project and some of the important parts about it.
Luis, can you see the screen right now that shows the site plan?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what happened here. So I listen very good, very good. Oh my God.
Well, while he deals with his technical difficulties, I'll go over the plan. So as you can see on the site plan, right now we have the existing driveway at the south end or the left side end of the property. We'd like to put in a loop driveway. So there'll be a new section of driveway towards the right side elevation of the building. And that will require a curb cut. And then that will go to a parking area, which will be in the rear of the property, which is currently grass. So we'll have those parking spaces back there. Also on this site plan, you see the new location of the stairs that will access the second floor. Those currently go out roughly into the middle of the existing backyard. They'll be placed on the right side elevation, more tucked in there. And then the concrete ramp will be going to the left side elevation. There'll be a new entrance there. If we can go to the next page, please.
I have lost the video.
That's okay, I can go through the plans, and if there's any questions at the end, you'll be here to answer those. So this is a floor plan. The major change here, this is the existing floor plan. Again, you see the stairs at the rear of the residence, so those will be removed. There's already a porch on the left side elevation that's going to be enclosed. Next page, please. And this is the second floor. So you see it's currently or previously was used as an office. It'll be still used as an office, just needs some refurbishment. Next page, please. And here's the basement floor plan. Next page, please. So this is the existing front elevation. You can see the simple entryway. There's basically a triangular shaped pediment over the front door. One of the goals of the project is to shift that doorway over so that it's more aligned with that second floor window that's above it. And you can see there's a screened in porch on the left side elevation. And next page, please. And here's that screen porch on the left side elevation. Next page, please. This is the right side elevation. And next page, please. And here's the rear elevation. Next page, please. So this is the proposed floor plan. As you can see, the current screened in porch area will be office space. And next page, please. And more office space upstairs. Next page, please. This is the window details. Next page. And this is the first proposal. So the architect provided.
Proposal for elevation, yes.
Can you see this now, Luis?
Yes, the idea is extend the existing roof in the front and probably remove a little the front door and probably side lights in the left and right side. And the addition in the left side, enclosing and probably new windows set to the existing window. This is only the change the windows in the front elevation.
All right, if we're ready to go to the next page. Next page, please.
This is the left elevation, handicap entrance and Newports. And the idea on second floor is remove the existing window relocation and probably two new windows, same material with the existing windows. And in the rear addition, remove all existing windows and new windows and same material existing windows. Next slide, please. In the right elevation, remove the rear stair and relocation in the right side. That is only the chain in the right side and the windows in the rear. Next slide, please. And this is the rear elevation. Remove the metal handrail access to the basement and probably a new one. New windows in the rear, all new windows. And you can see the entrance for the handicap, a new porch. Next slide, please. This is other proposal for the front elevation. So the porches, the piece, the roof is different to the last proposal. That is only the chain. Next slide, please. The piece and the porch in the left side is same piece to the front porch proposal, the second proposal. Next slide, please. Only the chain is the piece in the porch, the front. That's it. Thank you. Next slide, please. Detail for the stair, short materials. Next slide, please. Is the concrete ramp entrance. Construction detail. Next slide, please. And this is the pictures. That's it. Oh, Chris.
Yep, that's all. That's the presentation.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Then next is the public is now invited to speak. To indicate that you want to make a comment, if you're on a computer or a laptop, move your mouse to the bottom center of the Zoom window, and you should see a raise hand button pop up. Click on that button, and then we can call on you. If you are dialing in on a telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand.
And I see no one with their hand raised.
Okay. Then we'll go to the commissioners. When I call your name, please state your thoughts and questions for the applicant. Commissioner Feinstein.
Hey, good evening. I have a few questions. One, I guess the biggest question I have is related to the parking itself and whether that is part of the purview of our review or not. Because, I mean, that's a rather substantial modification to the rear lot there, which is currently grass, correct?
Yes.
So that is a pretty big concern. It's going to change the character of the house because you're taking a lawn and turning it into a parking lot. So that's a fairly substantial concern that I have for the overall project in general. And like I said, I'm not sure if that's I mean, there's some elements I assume if planning allows it or not in this area, but beyond that, I mean, from a historic district commission standpoint, I have issues with it. Secondly, actually, if you go to the front elevation, I'm not sure which packet number it is. The proposed elevation, first option, I think the shed roof is actually, with the side lights, I think is an attractive new entrance. I like the idea, the suggestion from staff of trying to reuse the front entry door and to put it into the side lights. I don't know if that's an option or not. But other than that, I thought that felt appropriate to the house, this elevation here. On the side where you are filling in the porch, I think that works. However, the canopy over top of the front of the ramp, or the top of the ramp, I think in either location, I think that canopy kind of draws I mean, it fights with the the entrance And are you doing that for code reasons, covering that up at the entrance to the top of the ramp, or is that a design decision?
Luis, the question is why a hood or canopy over the front entrance,
The side entrance.
on the side entrance, the left side elevation?
Okay, in the front is this proposal extend the existing roof, and in the left side, the pitch the roof, the cover entrance for the people, handicapped people, and the piece is the same piece in the main roof. You can see it.
I think Mark, Mr. Moyer, Mark was asking, is there a code reason to put the canopy over the handicap entry? He was just wondering if that was required by code, or is it a design issue for you?
This is the design for.
Okay. Yeah, my concern there is it kind of draws attention away from from the entirety of the house. It seems like it stands out a little bit, especially because it comes out so far over the ramp. I agree with staff about the guardrail at the ramp. I think it should try to match up with the other railing systems as best as possible at the that's over the front and also the rear. The windows there, I know you're looking to do a combination of both reusing the existing windows and then utilizing wood windows where the new windows have to be. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Are all the existing windows being reused?
So in the left side, the idea is we have only 2 windows, relocation the existing windows and provide 2 new windows because the space inside is very dark.
Those are new windows, but are there windows that were existing windows that are being removed and not being reutilized?
Yes.
And new windows. Is it possible to repurpose the old windows in new locations instead of putting new windows?
Yes, this is the proposal.
Okay, I think that would be.
Can we do that?
That would be beneficial, I think. How old is the addition in the rear?
I believe I included the Sanborn maps. I believe it was done probably in the 40s, but it could have been done in the 30s. But I think it was shortly after World War II.
Okay, so it's still part of the contributing portion of the building at this point.
Yeah, it's more than 50 years old, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the stair relocation, I think that's done in a way that actually benefits the building. So I like that idea of what you're doing there.
Thank you.
And I understand the reason for the need for the handicap ramp. It makes sense. I just wish it would. I don't like the canopy over top of that. I think if that can be avoided, I'd prefer that. And then, like I said, I agree with staff on the recommendation of the shed roof over top of the front entrance, where you're looking to do the side lights. Those are my main comments for now. So I think I think it's a mixture. I think there's some nice elements, really nice elements that you're looking to do, and that are very, in keeping with the historic feel of the building. And then there's some things that I'm concerned about, chiefly the parking.
Mark, before we move on, for the front elevation proposal, the over the main entry door, you like proposal number 1, which is the shed. Can we bring up page 98, which is proposal number 2? Do you feel strong, Mark, that at the front door, that this is your second choice, proposal number 1 is your first choice?
I think do I feel strongly? No, I think each one could work. I think each one is sensitive to the building So
If you had
one
to
or,
choose,
if I had
is
to choose, I would
proposal
choose
one your
option.
favor?
Yeah,
I'm
if I
sorry?
had to choose, I would say option one was my
Got
favorite.
it. Okay. All right. I just wanted your input. Thank you. Is there anything further from you before we move on?
Not at this time.
Okay, very good. All right, Commissioner Morgan?
It's
Yeah,
okay.
Good afternoon. How are you? Okay.
Good.
I don't want to repeat some of the same things that Mark said, but I want to focus on the parking lot. Can you go back to the site plan, please?
That is page 83.
Yeah. Okay. I think that the grass area that you existing grass area, you're actually going from pervious to impervious surface, and it's a lot of asphalt that you're putting down on the site. And my concern is the water, how you gonna wash this water off? And it's not showing anywhere, it's not addressed anywhere, and that's my major concern. It's a lot of surface that you're introducing to the site. I mean, are you doing curb and gutters?
Mr. Moya, he's asking if on the new parking, is there going to be curb and gutter that goes around the perimeter of the parking, or will it just be a grass connection?
So the situation, the parking is according with the area construction. You can see the parking tabulation in the right side.
But are you using curb and gutters? Are you gonna build new curb and gutters for your parking lot?
You know what he's referring to? The concrete curb and gutter?
No,
Yes.
Asphalt.
It's
I'm
gonna be
sorry?
asked. And the thing is, you have no topographic shown on the plan. How this thing sloping? How you gonna wash the water off from the site? That's something that I'm just concerned with that. I mean, it's 2D, and it's not sufficient information to tell me exactly what you're doing with getting the water off the site.
Chris
Does that mean-
Berger is,
Yeah,
I'm
before,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rudy. Please go ahead.
Say that again.
I mistakenly interrupted you. Did you want to continue
Okay.
what you were saying before I ask Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it's not enough information to tell me exactly what the parking lot is doing. Detail, there's lack of detail. Photography showing me the elevation. I mean, if you look at the site, it's relatively flat, and then he changing previous surface to impervious surface. So I mean, how you gonna drain this water? How you gonna wash the water off the site? I mean, there's a lot of surface water is going to be sitting in the parking lot.
It's only
Okay,
a small change in the level. It's maybe only 2 feet between the rear to the front. It's a small change in the level.
2 feet slope.
Yes.
Okay. Can you move the screen to the right? I want to see, is there an alleyway back behind the property?
it's not accessible via an alley. It's not accessible.
Okay. But it's an alley, right?
I don't know if there's an alley. It's the Verizon property. I
Is
don't
the-
think this
is it-
property can
okay.
access an alley there, no.
Okay. All right. So that water should be able to wash off and not sit on the site.
well, let me ask my question to you, Chris Berger. That's a zoning issue typically. For permit, do you know if zoning addresses runoff?
Yeah, before these plans can be stamped and signed by staff, we will have our civil engineer will need more information from the architect, such as what Commissioner Morgan mentioned. We'll need topography, and we'll need details whether there's a curb and gutter system. We'll need all those details before our civil engineer can review the site for just the issues that he is raising.
Okay.
Rudy, you can see right now on the screen that the back paving wasn't an alley. It looks like it's part of the parking lot of the neighboring building. Well, here's my thoughts on that. issue for you, Rudy, is that I don't think water should really leave the site if it is heavy runoff. That's not good to do to other sites. So zoning may request some kind of retaining system, subterranean or just a swale or whatever. But that I would think is something for them. Your point is a great point. Mark's is a great point as well. I'm not sure that it is. I guess it's part of our purview, because essentially you may be saying, and Mark as well, that it's changing the nature of the environment to go from residential to commercial. So based on that, I should say no further. I won't argue that, because I do think that heavy paving and heavy parking does make something look very commercial. But I would say that most of the asphalt is hidden from view. It's behind the building. So I'm not so sure that it's architecturally or historically a significant thing for the nature of the front street frontage.
Okay. Go back to the site plan. One last comment.
So you can see the house in the right side. They have a bigger parking space.
Okay. All right. I know you need parking space. I'm just concerned with water sitting on the site. I mean, one thing that should concern everyone is water sitting on the site, particularly on this property. The medium you have on the site plan, are you going to introduce some green area? Because if you look at the site, there's a lot of trees, a lot of green area. It looks very nice. And all of a sudden, the plan is proposing a lot of hard surface to this property. So are you going to introduce some area like where you have the median, put some shrubs, some grass to soften the parking lot?
In the middle and between the.
Yeah. Is that your intention?
Yes, we can do it. We can move the parking.
I'll suggest you do
the
that.
back a little.
Yes.
If I can interject real quick,
Yes, I
actually.
understand.
Yeah.
So this property is zoned RB, and there are zoning requirements relates to green space requirements in the zone. It's actually 30%. According to their plan, they're 37.9%. So they are meeting the city's zoning requirements related to green space. Additionally, the parking lot, we have a large section, right, on just parking itself, related to, again, drainage, the depth of the parking space, the width of spaces, all that, the constructability of the parking lot. And again, all that information would need to be provided to staff before we can, like Chris said, approve the plans.
Great. Yeah, I'm just observing. I mean, it's lack of detail. That's my concern. Yeah.
And we have a recommended condition of approval with the site plan, with this plan in front of you now, to request additional information before we approve the plan.
All right.
I think it's two separate things though. I think there's the permitting things from a zoning standpoint and whether you're meeting the requirements that you're talking about, Greg. And then there's a second thing is whether putting in this parking changes the entire character of the existing historic structure.
Yeah.
And that's kind of more our purview. With
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Rudy, any more before I go into John?
No, I think I said enough. Myself, I'll leave it.
No, these are all good points, and I think we have to consider them at the end. So next is Commissioner Roddy.
Once again, I'm very much in agreement with my colleagues, particularly with regard to the optics of the parking and the practicality of it. I won't belabor the point. I have looked at the proposed staff recommendation and the 5 conditions that it contains, and I am in agreement.
Okay, I'm next and last. I like the revised stairs being changed. The rear exterior stairs that stick out like a sore thumb is being changed to the side elevation, which is, I think, so much better both visually and physically. That is, it will tend to be protected a bit by the building itself, just a bit. you know, from snow and some rain, just a bit from where it is now. So visually, it's a much better improvement where you now have it. So I think it's wonderful. I think all of the changes that you're proposing are compatible with the existing building for the most part. I do agree with Commissioner Feinstein that the covered portion of the handicap ramp looks a little bit foreign. I don't know what page that is. If you can go to the proposed, I think it's left side elevation.
Let me find the page number. It is packet page 95.
Yeah, it just looks a little bit foreign to the rest of the building. That is, you have the columns, which you don't have anywhere else. Then you have the pediment structure, which is in this view, it's just two-dimensional. It just looks like a pediment, but from the side elevation or the front elevation, seeing this from the side, it does look long. I'm not majorly concerned of it. I can live with it either way. If the commission votes to ask for it to be removed, I will support that. So I don't care about that. Can we go to the page 98, which is the front proposal 2? I like this front elevation better at the front door, the pediment over that, which tends to, in my mind, if we're going to keep the pediment over the ramp, which is on the left-hand side, it then works with vocabulary for the front elevation. So that's my thought. What I'd like to do, though, is ask everybody's, the commission's opinion on these two items, because I think there's only actually now that I'm thinking about it, there's 3. Let's hit those 3. So the first is let's just talk about pediment over ADA ramp. The second is the front elevation pediment. And then the third is the parking. So those are the 3 big issues. So what I'd like to do is hit everybody, the commissioners, and tell me which you would vote for. We've done this in the past with other projects, but I guess this is important because you guys brought this stuff up, and I don't think that we should just gloss over it if it's critical to you. So starting with Mark, I'll go through each 3. Tell me your vote for the pediment over the ADA. And I said it's pediment, it's really the roof itself. So for or against the roof over the ADA ramp?
Against.
Okay. The front elevation, I think you already said you prefer the shed to the pediment over the front doors.
I do, but either one would be acceptable, but I prefer one.
Okay. All right. Would you put your vote down as either?
Yeah, I'm fine with either. So yeah.
I'm fine with if you say just shed. I just want to make sure that I put your vote.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll vote for either on that.
Okay, and then for the parking, I don't know a solution about that.
The only thing I could think of was like if there was some sort of a pervious paver system or something that would kind of blend in, and then it becomes a conversation with Greg and what they could do from a zoning standpoint. If there's like a grasscrete or something like that, that would kind of make it feel more still preserving it like a yard. And I understand the presenter's discussion about, directly to the left, there's a large parking lot. But each building we look at is not, it's precedent upon itself. And I'm looking at this house as, it's its own historic structure that's, that I like it to be represented in its own landscape. That could also be considered historic. So, I mean, that's what my concern is there a way to make it work?
My thoughts are, I like everything you said. My thoughts are the grass pavers. We had a project, I think it was Phil's house. Remember Phil Wessel's house? I suggested that, and he thought that with the cars on that, it would wind up killing the grass rather quickly. Mm-hmm. And ever since he said that, I kind of agreed. I think the grass pavers would work when there's very few parking on it, but it seems like this is going to be, well, it's a business, so it seems like it's going to have a lot of cars parked on it daily. Do you think that grass pavers work with cars parked on it daily, or do you think not? In your vantage
In my
point, is that-
experience, yeah, I agree. I mean, you're not going to have a lawn that looks like, I mean, it does kill the grass, but it does sometimes present something that's a little more, you know, less either asphalt or concrete. It feels a little more, that's why I was thinking maybe just maybe if it's not a grass paver, but just a paver system, like some sort of traffic paver system that either a concrete brick or something like that could.
You would prefer
hold.
that to asphalt?
I think it feels more residential to me.
I
don't
don't,
know.
I won't argue that, except for my thought here is nowhere else do they have that on any of the other houses.
That's true.
So-
I mean, you're right, and I don't know a solution. I prefer no parking back there, but I know.
Yeah, I think we all do, but I think that it's a business, and so we really, I think, should think heavily as to allowing the business to thrive. Without parking spaces, where do they park? What about the idea that you mentioned more vegetation? What if would you feel, would it be pleasing to you if there was a stipulation on adding some vegetation to soften everything?
I think that would help. I agree with Rudy on that. And maybe we make that a stipulation that there's some landscaped areas within the parking lot that could support some more vegetation.
Okay, so I'm not trying to force you or guide you. I just want to know your thoughts. Or you feel strong that on these pavers, or do you think that the landscaping would be satisfactory to you?
I'm just throwing out the pavers as something to try to, brainstorm over it. I'm not strong with that. I do like the idea of doing something to soften it, so landscaping could be something that would work.
Okay, all right, good. All right, next then is Rudy for the 3 line items. Covered roof over the ADA, for or against?
Against.
Okay. The front elevation pediment to be, front elevation covering to be sloped, which is option 1, or pediment.
Either way for me. It doesn't
Either?
matter. Yeah, either.
Okay, all right. And then the parking, are you feeling strong? Well, tell us your thoughts on how you would resolve the parking issue for you. One is landscaping, which sounds like a good suggestion. Do you have, are you comfortable with that, or do you have other thoughts?
Well, you can do landscaping if the parking is necessary because it's a business, but it just take away from the commercial appeal of the property. If residential, it takes away from the residential. It looks like a commercial. You're actually taking away the residential appeal and you're introducing a commercial appeal. So I would go with the paver, commercial grade. It depends on the sub base, the way you detail and build the sub base of the parking lot before you put the paver on. So it depends. I think it will work. It worked before other places. I've seen it done before.
So you're thinking that a regular brick paver versus asphalt?
Yes, I prefer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just looking at the picture, it's look rich. It's green. It's just going from that to asphalt. It's just,
Well, no doubt about that. But if we can go back to the aerial again, my thoughts are, and I don't want to.
Packet page 49.
I'm hesitant to guide you guys towards my thoughts, but I'm concerned that by putting in a paver, a requirement for a paver, we are actually, it was the other photo. It was kind of like the drone photo that showed the commercial building in the background.
Let's see.
Is the one that was just up. There you go. Thank you. My point is that if you look at the right-hand picture, the right-hand part of the picture, that the house that's commercial.
Okay, I
that's on the
see that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. There's two thoughts in my mind. One is that's already done for commercial right next door. And
Yeah.
so none of us want to lose grass for paving, but are we putting a burden on this business where there isn't one right next door? But the other thought for me is if you just, we don't have to go to a picture, but if you look at all of the houses, they all have asphalt paving in their driveways. So are we putting a burden on somebody to alleviate our feeling on the loss of grass, but putting in something that's actually far into the neighborhood because nobody has pavers on their driveway. So that's my big concern on that. But
Okay.
anyway, there you go. See, look at all the driveways. So we're saying that we want to change one, make it paver to make it better. And I don't think that's going to be better. I think it's going to be just as massive of a non-grassy area, whether it's brick or not. That's my own thought.
Yeah.
So based on that, what is your vote on the parking? Landscaping or paving, or landscaping and paving?
Now, I'll go landscaping based on the predicate that you just showed. But
yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is that none of us want to lose this grass. But I think that in order for them to be a viable business, you have to have parking spaces. That's one of the biggest problems in cities is you're driving around and you don't have parking. That would be awful. So, and if it is not only just for the employees, but if it's for the people who come to visit the building to meet with the people in the offices, that's going to hurt their business. And I don't see the pavers as alleviating the loss that we have on the grass. It's still going to be a loss. So that's my thoughts. All right, John, you're up next. And so for the ADA covered roof or not?
If I understand the issue as you see it, if you wish to have the convenience of a covering as one enters the door.
For the ADA, yes.
Yeah, for the ramp. You either have a gabled covering or a shed covering. If you have a shed roof, I think that's impractical for anyone who's taller than me. Roof line would be too low as one would enter. So it may be necessary to have a gabled entrance covered.
Okay, I think Mark was presenting the concept of no roof at all. So what are your thoughts on no roof at all? Do you think that it's valuable to the business and valuable to someone who's wheelchair bound to have the covering?
Yes, you have a transition at a doorway.
So you like that?
Yes, I
like
think
a roof.
a covering is a convenience.
Okay, so you're for the roof.
I am for the roof, yes.
All right, and I agree with you that a gable-ended a roof would be more appropriate than a shed just because of its length. I'm in agreement with that.
Right.
All right, next then is the front elevation. Do you like the shed roof or the
I have to say I could live with either, but I do prefer by a margin the shed.
Oh, good. Okay, good. All right. Then next is parking. What are your thoughts? Landscaping is one thought that people are saying. Another is pavers. Another is landscape grass pavers.
I have seen grass pavers used with some success. But I don't have a great deal of experience in the matter. So I'm sort of hesitant to say that they should attempt that and then only to discover that they don't work. Given what is the nature of the property that's next door to them and the nature of the property that is immediately behind them. I think it would be more consistent if there were paving there. And if you could use landscaping mixed in with the paving, I think that would be better.
Okay, and when you say paving, you're talking about asphalt paving, like the neighboring properties?
Yes,
Okay, all righty. Then I'm next and last. I think you guys already know my thoughts on it. For the ADA ramp, I am fine either way. I would say that it does offer protection for somebody who is wheelchair bound. And so having some type of covering there while they're trying to get in the door is a very valuable thing. So just based on that, I think I'm for having the roof. I think that even though it isn't very compatible with the rest of the building, I think having it at least be a covered roof of some sort is important to me. So maybe what I like to propose to everybody is it okay if we allow them to make their decision, keep the roof or not? Vote, give an approval for keeping the roof or removing it. It's their decision. Does that sound
I think
okay to everybody?
I do think there's a third option, because there is
Yes, sir.
there's two options of the roof covering of the handicap ramp. So there's in the option 2, which I know you're leaning to for the front entrance, there is a corresponding entrance cover for the ramp that's not as much of a a 6/6 kind of pitch, a 45 pitch. It's a little more it matches the front a little bit more. So maybe that could be the compromise option.
I like that idea. Are you saying then, if I'm reading it properly, that if we go with proposal 2 front entry roof, which is a pediment, put that detail on the ADA side
Well,
also?
It actually already is somewhat different. If you look at the existing options, the option 2 also has a little bit different covering for the ramp. If we pull up the, I don't know what page number that is.
I think it was
but,
page 98.
So 95 is the left side elevation.
and that's option 2, Chris.
This is the left side elevation that shows a steeper pitched roof on with the columns. And then let's see, option 2 in the front is the
98.
Back at page 98.
But there was a second option for the left side elevation as well, if my memory serves.
You're saying right here, Mark, the left-hand side has different option on that?
Yeah, show the elevation
How
for that.
so? How so? Oh, okay, yeah, then show that one. What would be option 2's elevation then?
It's the next page, packet page 99.
It's less steeply sloped, and I think it's
Well, to me, the columns look foreign. They just look spindly.
Yeah,
They're
but
not
I
anywhere.
don't see how you get away from the columns with that, with the span over the width of the
No,
of the
I'm
ramp.
thinking similar to the brackets on the front elevation. We just do brackets on the handicap elevation.
But can you
What are
pull
your
that?
thoughts
I mean,
on
that's,
that?
and we're looking at it's a 5-foot distance, so it's structurally that's a little more challenging than what he's got on the front.
I'm not saying do the whole 5 feet. I'm saying similar to the front elevation, which I think is showing up on this page
Yeah.
A116. What about doing that same detail on this side, on the entry elevation, left elevation over?
So it's
the,
just a cover for
ramp?
the door, but not at the turning radius for the ramp.
Right, yeah, just over the door.
I'm fine with that.
What do you all think? John, Ronnie? What
Sounds
do you
good to
think?
me.
Rudy? I'm sorry?
Good to me.
It sounds good. How about you, Rudy? Do you like the idea of removing the columns on this ADA, but using the roof with brackets?
Yeah, that
Okay.
would we carry over from the front to the side. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And
All right.
to Mark's Commissioner Feinstein's point, which is the preferable roof pitch on the left side elevation? We have this one, which is a lower pitched, and if we can go to packet page 95, which shows
There's
a
no question in
steeper.
my mind, match the front elevations identical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because one of the things I have a problem with this is that I already pointed out, the elements are far into the building. Either far into the existing building and far into any of the additions that you're putting on. The columns don't show up anywhere. The strong 90-degree or 12-12 pediment doesn't show up anywhere, really. So if we're looking at, you can go back to page 98, please. If we're looking at the front elevation with that pediment and that soft pitch, which looks like it is, or I should say low pitch, looks like it might be a 412, maybe 512 at the most. I would think that those two pitches should be the same. Those two brackets should be the same. What are your thoughts? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at the idea that the brackets may not work on the left side elevation because they'll actually physically block the path. So I take that back and I would just say, my suggestion is keep proposal number 2 elevation, front elevation over the door, and then match the detail and the slope for the covering. Does anybody have a concern on that?
How
Yeah, I
is it
understand.
supported?
It'll be
Sorry?
columns.
I'm sorry? Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to have the
so-
columns because I think the brackets would physically block the path.
The ramp, yeah.
Yeah, so I
How is it
take it
supported?
back to have brackets on the ramp. I think we'd have to go with the columns if we're going to do a roof. So right now for the pediment, we have 2 against the roof and 2 for the roof, which is awful. So does anybody want to change the vote? Because I'm fine either way. It's not a big issue for me. Does somebody
And I-
feel strongly to take the roof off or strongly to keep the roof?
I mean, architecturally, I like the building without it. However, I'm sensitive to the fact that it'll be beneficial to someone in a wheelchair to have a covering as they try to enter the building. So there's, you know, from an ADA standpoint, I think it'll be better to have that.
Okay, Rudy, you think so as well?
Yes. concur.
Okay, all right, so I changed both your vote and Mark's vote. All right, so the roof stays for the ADA pediment, but I think, am I railroading everybody into the front elevations option 2? I don't want to railroad everybody. Do you guys?
Well, John was the one I think who had the strong opinion for option 1.
Okay, so he had that, all right, and then everybody else, I'm strong on the pediment, and then you guys were either. So again, we have a split tie. Does anybody want to change their vote? Right now, Mark, you're either way. Do you have a preference? You originally said shed.
I
Do you want
originally
to go
said
for your
shed.
shed?
Well, the language, I think the language changes a little bit if we're keeping the entrance to the
That's
over
true,
top of the
because it does
ramp.
have a pediment no matter what, because we do want to have a gable end.
So
So,
with that in mind, I do like the shed better than having the gable at the entry. However, because we're introducing the cover to the ramp, I think option 2 works better
okay,
as a composition.
okay, all right. All right, so that front elevation then is option 2 is acceptable to you because we're going to do the covering on the ramp.
Yes.
Okay, Rudy, what are your thoughts? You said either way, you feel strong about just the shed roof on the front elevations entry? Or do you think that it should be the pediment?
Pediment.
Okay. John, do you feel strong about the shed or you're okay with the pediment?
I can live with the pediment.
Okay. All right. All right, so then that would be 4 for the pediment. Next then is landscaping. I mean, for the parking lot, everybody said landscaping. Does anybody feel strong about anything other than the landscaping to solve the problem that that we can't solve the problem, but to try and at least request something that mitigates the overall impact. Is there something else that somebody wants to throw in other than noise? No? Okay. All right. So basically, I think we have unanimous on each one of them. So we are voting for the roof over the ADA. Therefore, it should match option 2's front elevation. And the front elevation for option 2 is the pediment. And then for the parking lot, to have significant landscaping. We'll leave it up to staff to determine what they feel is significant. Okay, so based on that, does somebody want to have a motion?
Before we get to that, there were other
Yes,
conditions
sir.
that staff had.
Yeah, there's 5. Do you want to go through them?
Yeah, why don't we quickly go through
Does
that? 'Cause-
anybody have any concerns with any of the 5? When I read through, I thought I was fine with all of them.
Well, one is in conflict with, because that, I think they went with option 1.
Right,
For the
good point,
entrance and work.
good point. That's right, good point.
So the 5 conditions are applicant must install the shed roof, so we're not going with that one. The second
Okay.
one is applicant must reuse the existing front door unless staff determines it is not feasible and must coordinate with staff on the final design of the other exterior doors. Reuse of the exterior existing doors is encouraged. So I think we're fine with that, correct?
Mhm.
Number 3 is the railing along the concrete ramp at the left
Mhm.
side of the entrance must have vertical pickets and be similar to the railings to be installed at the front entrance and the basement stairs egress. And I think we're fine with that, correct?
Right, but don't forget, it does have to have a
Has to have a
handrail
handrail,
for the
right.
ADA.
Yeah.
So the
It
pickets
has
would
to
be
have a
at the
handrail.
40,
I
the
think on
42
both
inch high guard.
sides.
It
I'm
does.
sorry,
Yeah, it does. So you'd have the 42 inch high guardrail with the pickets, and then you'd have a
right, the guardrails.
rail with that would be for the handrail at
Right.
that height.
Right.
Number 4, the original windows and openings on the second floor on the left side elevation must remain in place, and new windows and openings cannot be installed. Are we fine with that?
I
I
think
am.
everybody was.
Yep. And finally, the applicant must revise the site plan to provide pavement details and apron detail, topography, wayfinding station, signage details prior to certification of plans by staff. And I think we've covered that at length at this point.
Right, and then I guess what you could do is number 6, you just hit, the ADA roof, the front elevation, pediment, and then the landscaping. So you can add that to number 6. So are you, Mark, proposing to?
Yeah, I'll move that that the Historic District Commission, based on the exhibits submitted, the applicant's testimony, and the staff report finding and recommendations, grant HIST 9114-2021 various exterior alterations and paving of a looped driveway and parking area, finding it to be in compliance with section 24-227.2 of the city code with the 6 conditions that we've already mentioned.
I think it's 5 conditions because the first condition, it talks about the shed roof, which
Well, the first
I
condition.
would recommend just
we're-
modifying the first shed, the first condition.
Well,
to
the first
be a
condition is
pediment.
option, is the option 2 pediment. However, the 6th condition was the introduction of additional landscaping to the parking area in addition to the other items.
All right, and then maybe number 7 is address the roof over the ADA to be compatible with the pediment over the front door.
Yeah, which is option 2, I think.
Yes, but I'm saying that'll be caveat number 7.
Okay,
Okay, all right.
that makes sense, Chris Berger?
Yep, I got it. Yep, makes sense.
Okay, so that was a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
All those in favor, I'll take the roll. So I want to make sure I'm writing this down properly. Okay. I support the motion. Nay, if you don't, abstain if you wish. Commissioner Feinstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan,
Aye.
Commissioner Roddy,
aye.
Commissioner Ventola says aye. Passes 4-0. Okay, congratulations, Mr. Moya. I hope that our suggestions are compatible with your design needs, and And we want to thank you for your time and congratulations. You have a very nice project, and the addition that you designed, I think, will look very compatible.
Thank you for your time, everybody, and we are following your recommendation.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
You're welcome. Well, thank you so much. Okay, moving on then next is discussion topics, which is the preservation of historic resources text amendments. And we have comments from staff.
Yes, if we can go to packet page 167. So first, some background. The city manager's office directed planning staff to update Article 12, preservation of historic resources, earlier this year. Staff notified the HDC of the direction at the June 23rd meeting. Since then, the mayor and city council and planning commission held a joint work session on August 23rd to discuss potential amendments to the preservation code. And they believed there was sufficient need to amend it. Staff will seek sponsorship for the text amendments from the mayor and city council at the January 3rd public hearing, and we will continue to update the HDC throughout the process. I'll briefly go over the proposed changes. If we can go to the next page, please. So the process to both designate and remove designation is not clear in section 24-226, so we propose to clarify that. Next page, please. And looking at designation removal further, we propose giving more reasons to allow a designation removal, such as the resource is lost its historic qualities and no longer meets the criteria necessary to accomplish the goals of the master plan or the city's strategic directions, undue economic hardship, but not because of the owner's own neglect. The mayor suggested that designation only be removed if there's a supermajority of the mayor and city council. And next page, please. The category of items for staff approvals are currently not in the code, so we'd like to add those items, and those are listed on the screen: tree removals, fences, signage, material changes, sheds, and minor elevation and site plan details. And next page, please. And we're going to eliminate impact review areas. They've never been enacted, and we don't really feel like they're necessary. Next page, please. And as we found out earlier this year, the process to pursue historic designation for properties undergoing demolition review needs some clarification. So we reworked that section to add that the HDC must petition the mayor and city council by resolution, and the mayor and city council must accept that petition. We would also like the city manager to have the ability to issue a demolition permit if that petition is denied by the mayor and council. And next page, please. And besides the aforementioned items, we also propose some minor changes, the removal of sections that are outdated or simply unnecessary. So that's the latest. Do we have any questions about the revisions that are included in the packet?
I thought they were monumental. When I was reading through everything, I was like, oh my goodness, there's almost no stone unturned on there. I'm glad you guys clarified the designation issue, because as everybody knows, I think it was unclear, at least to myself, and I would say maybe some others on that commission. And now it's been clarified, and I think that helps a lot. And I'll say that I'll shed a tear for Mary Jo's impact review areas, because she's not here to do so. So, but thank you. There was extraordinary amount of changes. So you guys, I think you said it was the mayor and council, really worked hard on all those. That was a lot of stuff. And I didn't see anything that I had any major concern with personally, other than I know Mary Jo's impact review areas was completely dismissed, but that's the mayor and city council's prerogative anyway. So.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Then next is anything from staff. Let's start with Chris.
Nothing from me.
Okay, Greg.
Nothing to read tonight. Just happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That's a nice thought. Okay, Frank. Anything
Well,
from you?
well, I do want to.
That's right. You want to say
introduce-
goodbye. You know, Frank,
well,
he's
Yeah,
leaving us.
that,
You know,
but I
everybody.
actually want to introduce Eric Perla here at the end, who will be your counsel from here on in for the city attorney's office. He has experience working with the state's attorney's office in Frederick County and also in Montgomery County, handling litigation. He's worked in our office so far on a number of litigation and planning issues, and did have the chance to look at the updates to Article 12 of Chapter 24 on historic preservation. My own sense is certainly have enjoyed working with him, and I think he will have a good sense of working with the board and working with the commission, and the whole point of historic designation. And as far as my farewell, I've certainly enjoyed, I'd like to say it was a couple of years here, but actually it's, I sometimes keep getting reminded that where I think it's a couple of years, it's getting closer to a decade, but
Wow. Has it really been like 8 or 9 years?
it's been close to 8 years.
Wow.
And, but I've enjoyed working with you. We have had some issues to work through, and I've always appreciated your commitment. And as I've said a couple of times, I'm not sure all members currently have heard me say it, but a lot of the things you will talk about in terms of older homes and compatibility, and in terms of replacing windows and the importance of appearances. My wife and I had at one point owned what turned out to be the oldest house in the town of Mount Airy a few years ago. And, it was an old farmhouse, and it caught fire, and we chose to rebuild it, and really ended up restoring it and doing things like on the front porch, deciding, well, let's add decorative porch brackets at the corners of the columns. And we didn't have a hard time figuring out, well, what would have gone there, because the paint marks were still there from the old columns that had been there, probably removed in the 40s or 50s. The house was built about 1883. So, just to say, I always understood you kind of get it or not. So you certainly had a supporter here for what you're trying to do overall. And I think you'll enjoy working with Eric. And I don't know if Eric, Dean, I assume you will ask him for some comment too, because he is here.
He's on my list. He's coming up next.
There you go.
First
Thank
of all,
you.
Before I go to Eric, I do want to say that we will miss you greatly, Frank. The advice was always sound, and your patience was always appreciated. And so Eric's got big shoes to fill, and we're going to miss you greatly. And so thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for your guidance and bringing your knowledge and expertise in for historic structures. It was all wonderful, and I was sad to read the email, hearing that you're moving on to better pastures. But we'll miss you, and again, I want to thank you personally from myself, and then I'm sure from the HDC as well.
Well, I should clarify, I'm still be with the city.
I know, but not with us. You're not helping us anymore, so
handing a couple of things off, just to try to adjust a couple of things. But I've also appreciated that when I have had concerns or something to offer or something to suggest, it does matter when you're advising that folks will listen to you. And you always did, and that, from my perspective, that is greatly appreciated, just that level of mutual respect. So.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for all that you have done for us. All right, Eric, welcome. We're delighted to have you as part of the team. So
Thank
please tell us a little bit about yourself, other than what Frank has already relayed.
Sure. First, I want to thank all the commissioners. Thank Frank. I know I echo the fact that I certainly will have big shoes to fill. I'm very excited to join Lynn and Frank as the new assistant city attorney. I've been a resident with the city for over 5 years now, so I'm very happy to be able to bring my legal experience in representing the constituency through which I have established roots and a strong connection. I have, like Frank said, I've been an assistant state's attorney for Frederick for 3.5 years. I worked in the public sector in family law and graduated from the University of Baltimore School of Law and went to undergrad at Maryland, where I majored in government politics. So go Terps. And thank you everyone again.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, welcome to you. We're delighted to have you as part of the team. Okay, then next, anything from the commissioners? Mark?
No, happy Thanksgiving and go Terps beat Rutgers, I guess.
All right, Rudy?
Nope, nothing. Happy Thanksgiving all.
All right, John?
And
All right, and I'll ditto your ditto. You're hereby adjourned.